Dr. Joe Griffin. Yeah. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching. Their talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin. It's Dr. Joe Griffin. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching. Their talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his tip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he give to you will have you take you drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education. Leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation. Taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching and talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Welcome. Week 21 of the Speaking Life in You Leadership live stream. I am your host, Dr. Joe Griffin, where we talk leadership dynamics, personal and professional growth, educational trends, and provide solutions to help you with school improvement to create a culture of collaboration. Let's go. It is indeed a great day, y'all. Week 21, I'm so happy to be here. Every week I'm happy to be here. I can't explain how happy I am to be here each and every week. We got a good show lined up for you today. A think tank, that's what I like to call it. And we're going to be reviewing, reflecting, reframing, and revitalizing as we prepare for 2025. So important to do just those things. I definitely want to get a roll call. I want to see where are you chiming in from, where you streaming in from. Good evening, Dr. Houston. Let's go. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I had a wonderful show with Create and Educate on last week as well. So definitely appreciate you for signing in this week. Also, where else we calling in from, you all? Because we got a good one today. And as we get ready, I always like to warm up with a quick talk, not necessarily a speech, but a quick talk, because I know I got people that viewing. We've got people who needs to hear these words. And one of the key aspects in your reflection process must be accepting wins with gratitude. Accepting wins with gratitude. So I am going to start out with that piece. And as we prepare to do that, I want to start out with some affirmations today. You say them to yourself, put them in the chat, do whatever you need to do to empower yourself. But I am a leader. Say it to yourself. We have to repeat those. You say, Dr. Joe, you repeat a lot of the same affirmations. It's a lot of different ones as well, but I do repeat them because we have to say them over and over again to ourselves. I resolve conflicts positively. Big part of the reflection process, you all. Say it to yourself, say it out loud, type it in the chat. I definitely want you all to be more active as well. I see the views, but I also want to see the comments. Don't just be secret hiding watching. Go ahead and let us know that you're enjoying what's going on. Put a post out today with about the first 20 weeks You ought to go on and look at those different topics. Powerful, powerful stuff. And the last affirmation for today, I prioritize my emotional well-being. I'm going to let that sink in. You got to prioritize your emotional well-being. And that's going to aid in your reflection process, okay? So again, we want to accept our wins with gratitude, you all. It could be worse. It could be a whole lot worse than it is. Those things that you won at, those things, those milestones, those little goals that you've been reaching for that have helped you get to where you are, be thankful for them. Be thankful for them. It might not be happening as fast as you wanted to. It might not be happening the way that you think it ought to happen, but still be thankful for those wins. The fact that we have already made it to 21 weeks on the Speaking Life in the You Leadership live stream, that's a win, you all. We've had some top-notch guests from different parts of the United States as well. So I'm very happy with that. And I know that that's a win. I know that we're providing a service, we're providing value to you, because you wouldn't keep looking, you wouldn't keep watching, you wouldn't keep chiming in. Well, Dr. Joe, if that was the case. So always remember, we definitely want to accept those wins with gratitude. Now, as you get ready to get into our topic for today, I definitely want to get you to get involved with us. One word or a few words to describe your first semester if you're an educator, and if not, the last 4 to 5 months of the year. Think about that. Describe your semester. Describe how the school year or either the last few months of this year have gone for you. And I just want to take a moment to allow you that time to reflect. Because I'm going to take you on a journey today. We're going to do some big reflection. Put big reflection in the chat if you're with me. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to go down that road. And the thing about it, it's not just for self-care, but it's for self-empowerment as well as those others around you. But one word that describes your first semester. So tonight, we are asking the question, how can we empower those around us through our reflective processes? How can we empower those around us through our reflective processes? And we're going to go through a discipline culture review in which we look at our students, parents, as well as educators. We're going to look at some key initiatives through a cultural, instructional, or an organizational lens. And then we're going to look toward how we can empower others as well as ourselves for 2025 in our schools. If that sounds good to you, let me know. If that sounds good to you, let me know, because we're about to get it today, you all. And as we go down the road, I definitely want to start first with my journey and what allows me to be here. How did I get here? And it was not easy, but I know that receipts matter. I know that people want to see where you've been and what you've done, what qualifies you for coming up here and telling us about empowering educational communities. So I'm going to take you through my journey as an administrator, 2008 through 23, and then we'll get into the reflective processes from there. But you'll see in 2008, 9, HJHS, that was my first year as a principal, and we went up. We went up 17 points. Back then, it was the Quality Distribution Index, and that was at HJHS. If you know, you know. So I'm definitely proud of that. The next year, I was placed in the high school position on the same campus, and it was HHS, still on the QDI scale. Was able to move up the school as well. We went up several points in that position as well. So again, just reflecting on some of these data points. I know you like data. 2010 to 11, PCCHS in Louisiana, based off the academic index, prepared them for state takeover and still raised test scores, powered through a suicide of a student on campus, you all, and we were still able to collaborate. And none of these scores happened because of me. Let me say that. All this is teamwork. Teamwork. The next years, We came back to Mississippi at that point, and AEHS. At that point, they were changing from the Park assessment to the SATP2. They jacked up all the scores that year. A lot of scores were messed up. Went from a 1, 2, 3, 4 scale to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scale as well. Then went to WBHS. If you know, you know. Larry Bell put our scores on one of his brochures. It was real hot at that time, and we had some great test scores. Moved them up. Went down a year, the first year. All right, let me add that as well, because it hadn't been all peaches and roses, because you have to learn, you have to reflect, and then come back with different strategies that are going to power you to next levels. But we went up tremendously, and it was based off the pass rate then. Hadn't gotten to proficiency yet, you all. We hadn't gotten there. Then we moved to MPHS, 2016 through 2020. Help, man, love MPHS. That's my home. And we were able to do some historic things at that moment. Moved from a D to a B for the first time in school history, and we were able to keep it going for 4 years thereafter, and they were able to keep going and move on. COVID hit us. I transitioned to MHS. Again, the proficiency and growth still on that. Okay, and then after MHS, we were able to set them up that year. We were out of school, remember, so we only went to school half the year. Then the next couple of years came to California as a founding assistant principal. This after many years as principal, I came to California, and we were able to raise test scores. That's right. I was able to get in with a first-year principal and able to help use some of the skills that I had gained. And that's what happened. That's the results. So just reflecting on those receipts, that's one of the reasons why I've determined that I've got to do this every week. I've got to help educators empower themselves as well as the teachers, leaders, and students that they serve on a day-to-day basis. So just a little warm up with that as well, you all. Again, one thing that you thought about that you could have improved over this semester. You got to start there. You've got to start there. Going to move right along here, you all. And I told you that we definitely want to review our discipline culture. Remember that discipline culture is the collaborative way in which teachers and administrators work together to handle issues. It's not necessarily about misbehavior. It's about the issues that we face, that we encounter in schools. Student-to-student issues, student-to-adult issues, as well as adult-to-adult issues. All of these affect the instructional process. So when you're thinking about your discipline culture review, you've got to first look at your students. How is conflict handled? Are you fostering a culture of collaboration? Do you have vulnerable spaces for students and for teachers where they can come and allow themselves to go, allow them to be social and emotionally safe? This is important, and you got to review and think about that. Were there conflicts resolved in ways that presented relationships while upholding accountability? See, even though you have conflict, you still got to be able to keep everybody accountable. You still got to be able to keep people accountable. And when you're looking at your discipline culture review for students, you want to ensure that, number one, you've allowed them to be in leadership positions. You've encouraged them to be their best selves. You put in safety nets, after school programs, in-school remediation programs, things that can help students get done what they need to get done. Remember, we're reviewing, reflecting. Then we're going to reframe it or reshape it so we can be revitalized for 2025. Your parents, as you think about your parents, were you transparent in your communicatory processes? Did you have your parent advisory committee going strong? Did you miss opportunities to connect with parents? There are many chances to opportunities to connect with parents, but you got to take advantage of them. You got to put structures in place that allow that to happen. One thing I like to do was always host a morning meeting as well as an evening meeting, once or twice a month, depending on what particular program it is, whether it's your parent advisory committee or your parent teacher association, or there are some other parent organizations as well that you probably have in your schools also. But those two, you want to run them not simultaneously, but in opposite of one another, meaning one in the morning, one in the evening, and keep that going. That's crucial, you all. That's crucial. You got to make sure that you're talking with your parents. Make sure that you're getting the information to your parents, and then your educators. This is the big one, because discipline culture is about educators and administrators working together to put students in positions where they can be successful. That's the bottom line. And that's what we have to do. Did you create a culture where educators trust you, where they are able to speak out, where they are able to have a voice? What type of environment do you have in your school? All these things have to be thought about when you're doing your discipline culture review. Now, as you're thinking about what's one area that discipline culture excel for you and one area that needs reshaping. One area of discipline culture, the collaborative way in which teachers and administrators work together. What worked well in that? Did your reflection circles work well? Were your professional learning communities done well? Were you able to create social and emotionally safe spaces for students through a variety of programs? You got mentoring programs? All these things have to be thought about as you review your discipline culture and you prepare for 2025. One area, you all, think about that you excelled in, and one area that needs reshaping. Did you develop systems for conflict resolution? Systems for conflict resolution. Issues don't just resolve themselves. You've got to put systems in place so that you make sure that they are taken care of. That's crucial, you all. So again, that's your discipline culture review. Students, always first. Keep in mind what you need to do to make it better for them. Parents, you need your parents. You need your parents on board. So make sure you take advantage of opportunities to get them on board. Crucial. And then, of course, your educators. Nothing happens without your teachers. Nothing happens without your team. Pull them together. Pull them together. Get on the same page. Be socially, emotionally aware. Okay? Some action items that you could do. Self-assessments. Do some self-assessments so that you can be self-aware of what you need to do to put people in situations where they can be better empowered. All of this is crucial, you all. All of this is crucial. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking right now? What's something that you can improve with your discipline culture for 2025? And I know you want to rest. I know that you're going to get your rest. You're going to be revived, rejuvenated, revitalized. But at the same time, you got to be thinking about what's next, because those kids are needing you. Those teachers, they're needing you. They need you to be there prepared. They need you to have a plan. They need you to help shape the direction that the school is going. That's crucial. And you have the power to do it. You have the power to do it. I'm telling you what I know, not something that I heard on the street, but something that I know. I showed you those test scores at the beginning, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that the systems that we talk about, the topics that we bring to the table each week are pertinent to be successful educators, not just principals, but also teachers, because I talk to everybody. I like educators to know exactly what needs to happen. Your instructional initiatives. Let's look at those, you all. Let me change this banner here. But key strategies were to evaluate your cultural, instructional, as well as your organizational systems. Say that again, y'all. Key strategies to evaluate and improve your current cultural, instructional, and organizational systems. And most of your systems are going to run through your different initiatives. But the first thing you want to think about is, what progress have we made in building a positive school culture? What's that progress look like? What does that progress look like? What does that progress look like? What are you doing to ensure that you continue to move forward, that you're putting teachers and students in positions where they can be safe, the morale goes up? Remember that culture drives everything that we do. What visuals do you have around the school? What are your different themes that you're pushing through the school? What type of celebrations can you incorporate into your daily activities? All of this helps. And it's something that doesn't take care of itself. It has to be planned. It has to be purposeful. Remember, collaboration is intentional. So in order to build a culture of collaboration, I've got to ensure that I'm putting things in place to ensure that people are celebrated. People have opportunity to realize their accomplishments, and we're moving people in the right direction, you all. That's what it's all about. So when looking at those cultural initiatives, think about what's driving your school. What's your motto? Do you have something consistent that your students and teachers hear every single day? When I was a Tiger, it was tearing into greatness, expecting real success. We are Tigers. Rah. Yeah, yeah. Every day they heard that on the intercom. Every single person in school. When we were Cougars, we were coming out onto greatness, achieving real success. Rah. Every day. Oh, I love this, you all. You got to love what you do. When we were Eagles, we were eagerly anticipating greatness, leading and expecting success. Yes. Yes, you are. When we were Oilers, outstanding, intelligent leaders expecting real success. Yes. They heard this. They lived it. You probably seen some of my videos on social media where I show the students, the whole student body, embodying the motto. Y'all, this is powerful information. You got to live it. You got to love it. And your people are going to learn it. Ooh, wait. Live it, love it, and your people will learn it. This is crucial, you all. And of course, your instructional initiatives. Your instructional initiative. How many classrooms you get in? How many observations did you make? Informal or formal? Just a question. Just a question. Not targeting anyone, but how often do you get in the classroom? It's the day and age where you're too busy to get in the classroom cannot exist as an administrator. The day and the age where you can't get in the classroom cannot exist anymore for administrators. You got to make instructional leadership your number one priority. So how many classrooms did you visit? How many of those observations turned into opportunities for actionable feedback? If you're leading educators, you've got to be able to interact with them. You've got to be able to interact with them, show them. Okay, this is crucial. So, are your goals aligned? Are they aligned with your vision? Are your instructional goals aligned with the vision? Those teaching strategies that you're pushing through the school, are they going to help make up the academic points that you need? Are you using high-yielding instructional practices, stations, reciprocal teaching, thinking maps, graphic organizers? All of those help. Different cooperative learning styles and groups. All this is going to help magnify what you're doing in your school, what you're doing instructionally for your students. Are you preparing teachers? Are you providing support? Are you giving them the professional development needs that they need to be successful? All of this is crucial. And of course, you definitely want to look at your organizational initiatives. Let's talk logistics. Is your building clean? Have you taken the necessary steps to ensure that custodians are on the schedule, that they are keeping the building clean? Cleanliness is next to godliness. So it's important that we provide atmospheres that are clean for our students as well as our teachers. Students don't want to learn in a place that's filthy. Teachers don't want to teach in a place that's filthy. So organizationally, make sure that your facilities are meeting the needs of your school community. These details matter more than you realize. It matters. So ensure that you've got a plan in place as you reshape or reframe for 2025. And you know, because the teachers have told you, they've told you my room isn't clean, my garbage didn't get taken out on yesterday. There were spots in the corner in the cafeteria and things of that nature. So all of that is crucial and important if you're going to improve your organizational systems. So again, key strategies to evaluate and improve your cultural, instructional, and organizational initiatives. What's one initiative that made a big difference in your school this semester? Just want to give it time to think. What's something that you used in your school, an initiative that is really making a big difference for you right now? And it's something that you want to drive in on come 2025, come next semester. Think about that for a second, you all, because it's crucial that we do that. Robert Curtin, appreciate you, Dr. Curtin. Culture is the foundation of success and thrives on trust and collaboration. Yes, yes. And Dr. Curtin will be back with us on next week. We're going to talk about grant writing next week, you all. He's written over 100 million in grants. So we're going to talk about that next year. Also something that you want to prepare for 2025. But what is something that you put in this semester that's really, really working? Share it in the chat. We want to celebrate those wins together. We want to be able to tell you, hey, keep it up. All right. Some actionable things that you can do with your cultural, instructional, and organizational systems. Use data from observations. Use the data from the observations to refine your strategies. So when you have data in front of you, you've got to use it. And as we often say, as Dr. Curtin said, data needs action, DNA. So when you get that data, you got to look at it and then make sure that you're making the necessary adjustments. If the data is descending instead of ascending, you've got to make sure that you make the adjustment. I talked about adjustments on several different live streams, but one of them was at the end of the first 9 weeks. And I urged you then. I said, don't let it keep going. Don't let it keep going. You got to make a change. On last week, before you got out of school, I told you, make sure you make those corrections that you need to, resolve those conflicts that you need to before you go into 2025. If you were not privy to that information, if you missed the live stream and you weren't able to do that, that needs to be priority when you go back. Fix those broken relationships because they're the key to your cultural initiatives. They're the key to your instructional initiatives. They are the key to your organizational initiatives and systems. Okay, so it's important that you go back and reconcile those differences. That's what leadership is. You got to reconcile those differences. As a leader, it's your job to make sure that everyone is intact emotionally so that we can get the job done. This is crucial. So as a leader, please make sure you do that. As we keep going through, again, if you have questions, you have input, put it in the chat. I love that. Put it in the chat. I love that. I love to have your participation. I love to hear your thoughts because that's only going to help us be more empowered. That's what collaboration is. Collaboration is us working together, us talking together, us speaking about those things that we need to do, putting those systems in place together. So if you're hearing something that you like, or if you want to add information, feel free. We need you in here. All right. Next thing you want to do is think about empowering others. Let that sink for a minute, because it's more than just a word. How can leaders effectively reflect to better empower students and adults? That's why we're here, you all. That's why we're here talking. That's why you're in the live stream, because you care about your school. You care about your team members. You care about your school community, and you constantly loving what you do, and you're thinking of ways to better what you do, ways to better put people in situations. So are we equipping leaders with those tools that they need to inspire and guide their teams? And this is a question not just for superintendents, not just for principals, also for teachers as well. Because teachers, you have to put the students in place. Are we equipping our leaders? All teachers are leaders. All students are capable. It's the model that drives us. So are we equipping them, though, with the tools they need to inspire and to guide their team? Leadership is not about authority. It's about influence. It's about how you're influencing your environment. What are you doing to influence your environment? Are teachers being supported in their professional growth? Are PLC meetings being run? Are they being run on a good schedule often? Are they being taken? Are you taking into consideration their thoughts? Are you giving them input, opportunities to also put in on the agenda for the professional learning community meetings? This is crucial. This is crucial. In order to get to ownership, you first got to have buy-in. In order to get to ownership, you first have to get buy-in. So it's important to get your team to buy into what you're doing. And you do that through supporting them, through loving on them, through putting them in situations where they can be empowered. Not by hogging up all the spotlight, but by putting them in situations where they can do what they need to do to be successful as well. And then, of course, your students. Are we giving them opportunities to lead, to take ownership of their learning, to feel valued as individuals? Do you have your student government association or your student leadership council running? And I don't mean just on paper. Are they actively involved in the governance of the school? How often do they meet? Are their sponsors active in their daily school lives? This is crucial, because if you're going to truly have an empowered educational community, everyone has to put in. And if you don't have an environment where students have an opportunity to dive into leadership, to show their growth, to bring other students along in those leadership processes, that's something that you need to review and reflect on. Remember, we're reviewing, reflecting, reshaping, and revitalizing for 2025. We're not going in there the same way. We're going in there with a mindset that it's got to be better, that we're going to make it better, and that we've got all the juice to do it. We got all the juice. You've got the juice, you all. If you like that, put it in the chat. All right. So what's the thing that you've done this semester? One thing that you've done this semester to empower someone in your school? What have you done to empower others? How have you put them in positions to be successful? Think about it. And I want to let it sink for a moment, because this is important. How can leaders effectively reflect on implementations to better empower students and adults? Students and adults, you need everyone empowered. You need everyone feeling good or feeling themselves, as they say, because that's how they flourish. That's how people flourish. You've got to make sure that they know that they are leaders. You got to make sure that you know that they can resolve conflicts positively. Because we've talked about it. We've put in different implementations to show you how to use your SEL to your advantage. All right? And that you prioritize your emotional well-being. All that is crucial if we're allowing people to reflect and empower them, okay? Reflection allows us to celebrate and to learn. Reframing shows you the new possibilities. Revitalizing It fuels your energy. It fuels your energy to keep going. Educators and others sometimes ask, what's your why? Where's your why? What happened to your why? It needs to be refueled. You got to revitalize it. How do you revitalize it? Through reflection. How do you revitalize it? Through reflection. How do you get your energy up? Through reviewing, reflecting, reframing, and you get to revitalization. Y'all, we dropping gems tonight. I hope y'all hearing this. I hope y'all hearing this. I hope you're with us, because this is something that we got to definitely do for our people. So again, excuse me, you all, as we do a quick review, just want to talk real quick before we start to get out of here, because I know that the information that you got today, somebody's going to use it. Somebody is going to use it. Someone is going to do what they need to do. Happy holidays, you all. Happy holidays over these next few weeks. If you're an educator and you're off work, revitalize. Now, that does not mean you don't do any work. Because if you don't do any work, that means when you go back, you would probably have retrogressed from where you are. Or you'll be in the same place. And as educators, you don't want to be stagnant. You want to always be putting yourself in a better place. So kind of like I tell students, do 10, 15 minutes a night. Look at your lesson plan. Think about what you're going to be teaching. Think about those leadership plans for your leadership team. If you're a principal or administrator, think about what those next few months are going to look like. After you reviewed, after you reflected, then you can reshape. And once you reshape, then you can become revitalized. And I want to definitely share a couple of things with you before we get out. Just I'm popping my stuff tonight, you all, as they say. Just a few testimonials as well. I showed you some test scores earlier, just because I want to not to impress you, but to impress upon you. These are reviews from professional development workshops that I did over the course of this past year. Lots of great information is what they say. Well organized, gives you the tool to revamp your school culture. I appreciate that. This session opened my eyes to be more intentional and reflective in my practice and my role. Y'all know I'm always talking about being intentional. Collaboration is intentional. It's not random. It's not something that just happens because we wake up. It's something that has to be planned for, worked toward, and built. It was innovative and engaging. I can add what I learned to my educational toolbox. I love it. I love it. That's why we're here, to add to our educational toolboxes. You think I'm bringing all those people on every single week so I can't add to my toolbox too? Y'all better get with us, baby. We're empowering people. We're putting people in a situation where they can be successful, where they can run schools to tip-top status, where they can move their school from a D to a B in 1 year and keep it going for 4 years thereafter, if it's the first time in the history of that school. That doesn't matter. You got to believe. You got to believe when you go in those schools, and you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work as well. We talked about self-assessments earlier. I actually offer a self-assessment. Global DNA Behavior Leadership Assessment takes 10 minutes. I would love for you all to DM me so that you can take it, but if you don't, that's your loss. I need you to be in a situation where you can be self-aware, accelerate collaboration for team members, X out those biases that we subconsciously have in our lives. All that's going to help you be a better leader, help you be able to put your team together better. We're talking about accelerating collaboration. We're talking about speeding it up. If you notice on those years, on those test data, none of those test data took me 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get those scores up. I came in, got the team together first off, worked with and through people, because again, I could not have done that alone. you can't move schools alone. And this during the time where those weren't COVID-induced scores. Yeah, because we got some COVID-induced scores, especially on my states that have growth built into the accountability model. I love growth. But if you didn't go to school for a year or 2 years because of the pandemic, and then you come back and everybody's in school, naturally your growth is going to be off the charts. See, I like the growth I had in a lot of those schools happened when we were going from year to year. So we've had a chance to recalibrate because of COVID and kind of start fresh, really. Start fresh, especially in those states that have growth as a part of the accountability model. And I've seen the accountability model in multiple states. So I'm really just happy about all of my experiences because that allows me to be able to come here and to give to you wholeheartedly with nothing in return. I just want to see people be great. I just want to be able to share. That's why we do what we do as educators, you all. If you are not aware of my books, I got some good ones. I'm thankful for them. All of them are written for you. None of them are about me. It's about preparing the educator and preparing people to be able to get through whatever times they have, whether it's in school, my educational books, but then also have the Spirit, Heart, and Soul collection of poetry that is for all. So the educational leadership pillar, you got the DIP approach for student, DIP approach for educator success manual, discipline culture plus instructional practice equals performance. That's the DIPP that you hear me talk about and tout all the time. I'll be presenting at the Innovative Schools Summit in New York on the DIP approach for empowering educational communities as well in February. So if you have not registered for that, come out to NYC with me and give us some support on that. And of course, empowering educational community, that's my latest work, a guide for teacher-principal collaboration. It's not just for teachers and principals, however, because we have to have systemic collaboration. There are parts of the book that talk about how the superintendents, counselors, other administrators, instructional coaches, et cetera, also play a huge part in empowering educational communities. And then the SEL pillar, the DIP approach for student and adult success. Dream with desire, initiate and invest in yourself, persist with purpose, and push past pain. Push past pain and persist with purpose. That's the DIP approach for student and adult success, SEL curriculum, you all. And if you prepare for 2025 and you want to change, you want to accelerate collaboration, you want to have someone who's a proven leader with a track record of success, I'm your guy. Let's get together. I've got an early workshop in January, and the principal told me, bring your receipts. She said they need to see your receipts. And I got so excited because I love bringing the receipts. I love empowering. I love pumping up staffs so they can get through the year, push those students to next levels. And here's the thing, push themselves to next levels. Push themselves to the next level. You got to make it fulfilling for your educators. You got to make a place where they want to come to work, a place where they want to join your program, a place where they want to give you input because they feel it's genuine. They feel like you're asking them because you really want to know. You want to see what it is that's going to make us better. You all like, comment, subscribe, share, you all. I didn't say it earlier, but definitely please like, comment, subscribe, share, get those algorithms going. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We can't hold this information to ourselves, y'all. That's why I've started doing it, because it's been in me. But I said, I've got to put this out. It's some educators, it's some leaders, it's some administrators who need this information. So I want to give it to them. So you all definitely like, comment, subscribe. And otherwise, just want to leave you with a quote. Yeah, and it's my own. Yeah, it's my own. If you work for your wins, you learn what it takes to win, and you no longer question the how. If you work for your wins, you learn what it takes to win, and then you no longer question the how because you've done it. Now you can start helping others, pulling other people along with you. That's what empowerment is about. Otherwise, you all, thank you all, as always, I can't express my gratitude enough to you all for joining each and every week the Speaking Life into You leadership live stream. And I definitely want to end with our affirmations. I am a leader. Say it to yourself, put it in the chat. Do whatever you got to do to pump yourself up. Do whatever you got to do to pump yourself up. I resolve conflicts positively. You got to resolve conflicts positively. That's peace. That's peace, y'all. That's why I'm so happy. That's why I can take off my glass. I can't see you the same right now. But you got to have peace in your heart to be able to do the best that you can do for others every single day. And that's what it's all about. I prioritize my emotional well-being. Say it to yourself. Put it in the chat. Let's see, yeah. Whatever you got to do. Yes, got a comment there. Oh, we got Antoine. How are you, Mr.? Appreciate you, Antoine. That's my former student. Appreciate you chiming in right there, baby. Nice to see you on. Because it's for you too. Because you got dreams, you got hopes. I see your post sometime. So I'm talking to you. Y'all just have to excuse me for I'm talking to one of my former students right now. Because he always had heart. He always had energy. He always had the mind. Now he's to put that thing into action, baby. I hear what you're saying. It's for you. If you can vision it, you can have it, Antoine. You got to put that work in, but you can have it. I know you, baby. So I'm happy that you were able to be here with us. I'm speaking that life into you specifically right now, because that's what this show is all about. Loving it, you all. Loving it. Otherwise, y'all just be great. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Everything, whatever it is that you celebrate, definitely enjoy. Always motivate. Definitely inspire as many as you can. Be the best that you can be. Dr. Joe, you all signing off. Always speaking and writing life into you. Love what you do.